Thursday, 23rd of November, and happy Thanksgiving to all my Americans today. Well, we get it a little bit ahead of you, don't we? So if you are in the United States, you'll hopefully be putting your feet up and having that extended Thanksgiving break that you get. Nice, lovely, long weekend. And of course, you will see, if you're here in this country as well, Black Friday sales are everywhere because, of course, that is tomorrow, officially as a day, but everybody's into it early. And of course, we've been having Naturals November all month, but we are doing something extra special for Black Friday. So I'm going to tell you about that in a moment. So welcome along. Welcome along for another morning. I have got a few things to show. I'm going to show you what we're doing for Black Friday. And then I'm also going to show you I have actually made some progress on the field cardigan, which is good news. I made sure I sat down for a couple of hours yesterday and made a little bit of progress, and I've learned a few things too. So if you're actually undertaking either the sweater or the cardigan, I think a couple of the things that I've learned might help you out. Welcome along. Come on in. I don't know what it's like at anyone else's place, but I was out walking very early this morning, and it was absolutely stunning. Got to see a cruise ship in. It's cruise ship season now. The ships are all coming in. We've had a couple this week. I hear Christchurch. I was talking to Ethan yesterday. They had 3 in yesterday. He said it was bonkers. He said the city was absolutely heaving with passengers coming in, 3 large ships in Littleton. Some will be probably either heading in this direction or whatever, so we may see them in a day or two here. So full on. But yes, and then of course it's supposed to go again for a few days, which actually, to be fair, I've not got a lot planned this weekend other than doing a little bit of the other job, and I'm actually quite looking forward to actually having some knitting time, guilt-free knitting time. And my garden's not complaining either. The garden's just gone bonkers. But anyhow, right, now that a few more of you are in the house, what have we got on the board, Miss Ford? What we've got on the board, Miss Ford, is this brand new yarn. And I deliberately wore this frock today because this yarn, it colour coordinates with what I'm wearing. There we go. Look at that. So this is Allure. So this is a one-off, and this is another one of those. We get some really lovely yarn in, and it was, as Peter tease melling, but I won't go and bore you with the details on that. But this is this beautiful, beautiful yarn, and we got this stunning fibre in. So the fibre arrived at the mill, single source fibre. It's utterly beautiful. The handle on this is like, if you remember our heritage Polworth from back in the day, it's pretty much almost merino soft. Like if I put this up next to, say, this, which is a merino or fate, this is slightly softer, but there's not a lot in it. It's softer. So everybody loves Chatswood. You guys adore Chatswood, and the handle on this is great. It's softer than Chatswood, so it sits in between Chatswood and the merinos like Fate or the Skeinz merino. The colours you may recognise, the colours you may recognise are those colours from that Skeinz merino range, but across this beautiful natural oatmeal base. Right, so that's what we've gone and done. So if you wanted to do some colour work and you wanted pure shades in with the muted shades, you could do that with the Skeinz merino, and they would be perfect complements to each other. If you wanted to do some funky dunky striping or something, it's divine, and it is spun to the same spin count that we have done the Fate in, which is lovingly known as 480 bar 4, 480 bar 4. I love it. It's my favorite DK count. It's the 104 meter count. It's 4 strands. It produces a beautiful cylindrical yarn. It gives you great stitch definition, but it still keeps all the bounce and the lusciousness. And this yarn is just gorgeous, and we've only got that's why there's only the 4 colors plus natural, so only 5. Very, very tight, small range. We've done it specifically for Naturals November, And then, of course, we thought, oh, we'll do it especially for Black Friday. So it is really quite lovely. And I know that they're all very soft, muted tones, but they are just utterly delicious. Now, the best thing about this is because this has come from a single source fibre yarn, and they've supplied us direct. We've been this is going, if there is any left, it's going to go out everyday price $5.95, which for the value and the softness of the yarn, as I said before, softer than Chatswood, just about the same as the Polworth actually that we used to have, only fractionally less soft than the merino. $5.95 is going to beats every day, but at the moment for Black Friday, $3.95. So if it sells out, that's it, it's gone. It's only a single batch. Been and done. Now, DK, because we can always do something with DK. So we know that if you want to do a garment lot, you'll know what the garment lot for you is. But the other thing I grabbed, and this is part of the reason why I did it these colours, is because, and I, did I put that other one away? No, I can show it here. And I forgot to show you guys this with these Skeinz yarns here, is I grabbed the fluff. Because I'm all about the fluff at the moment, as you know. I'm loving doing a bit of double stranding. And these Whisper Fine colours, if you're wanting to do, I know I've had a lot of people come in just recently into the shop doing the, and I can't remember, I think is it called the Stockholm Slipover, or it's one of those petite knit ones. And a very simple tank, super fast to knit. And she's got a whole bunch of them that are that mohair plus a DK yarn that produces around a 14-ply quite a chunky gauge. But it's a lovely, beautiful, airy type fabric. It just produces a stunning fabric, which you get. And I've gone and grabbed these because I just wanted to show you if you wanted to do something like that. I mean, look how, see, these marry up beautifully. So this is fresh with green tea. That's koi with horizon. This one here, this is my favorite combination. This is kiss with Bellini. Look at that. Oh, I just think that one's gorgeous. And then we've got that one there is rose with demure. Beautiful. And I've actually gone and paired the pearl, which is what I'm knitting with at the moment, with the natural. I like the lighter pearl with the natural. Some people would put the smoke there. So if you wanted to send it cool, you'd go smoke. I personally like sending it warm, so I would go pearl. So that's another option as well. So if you've seen some of those petite knit patterns that are in that sort of, I think she uses about an 8 or 9 millimeter needle with them, using the bit of fluff with a bit of DK. And I think the Anchor sweater is done that way, Stockholm Slipover. There's a whole heap that she has at that gauge. Perfect. Really perfect. So good. So good. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And these are out and available now. So and it's available until, so what are we now? Today's Thursday. So it'll be available until Sunday at that $3.95 price. So make sure you get skates on with it. I'd hate for you to miss out on that really sharp price on this stunning, beautiful yarn. On the sale page. So the only thing on the sale page at the moment, so it's pretty easy to find. Right. Oh, and if you're a charity knitter, I've just got a little onesie off on Monday. I think we're going to put it out Monday or Thursday. Monday. A little one-off of something that just came in. It was a cancelled order. So if you like yourself a bit of optic white and you would like to do a bit of charity knitting, keep an eye out for that one. All right. I've got progress to show you. So for those who haven't tuned in for a while, I am knitting the Field Cardigan by Camilla Vlad. I was talking to Ethan yesterday about this. I said, oh, I can't believe I've done this to myself, because he knows what a lazy knitter I am. And I'll be the first to admit I am a lazy knitter. I don't like to be challenged too much, especially this time of year. But I couldn't resist this. This spoke to me. It's been speaking to me from when the sweater came out. This is the cardigan version. Now, to be fair, the cardigan version is a little bit more challenging than the sweater because obviously you're working front and back, working flat, which means that you will be having things like knitting, plenty of knitting into the back of the loop with things, which you don't necessarily. It's a lot easier when you're working in the round all in the right side direction. So there is a few more wee challenges with working this project flat than what it is in the round. However, yeah, what I do know is once I'm through, and it's actually when you look at it, it's really the first half of the field because that's when the grains are really tight together. The second half, the grains sort of spread out, so it isn't quite so intense. So I know that once I'm through that, it's going to be a piece of cake. As I said to you before, I've always map out my rows. So I did a little bit of mapping on here when I was in page 1, and then I've actually started going through and writing my rows out. Oh, probably can't see that. There we go. Writing my rows out next to the rows on the pattern and crossing them off. And I have little codes, like I put a circle around the row if it's a buttonhole row. So then that way, as I'm working, I can cross it off and I know exactly what I'm doing. I know for some people will be thinking, why on earth did you do that? Trust me, it just makes your life easy and you know where you're going. It's a bit like a roadmap, you can sort of, and from a progress perspective, it makes you feel good that you are making some progress. So that is just something that I've always done. You've probably seen it with other projects that I've got that I've had, everything all written up and I cross it all off by hand. Some people use it digitally, but that's how I roll. I'm very old school like that. Now, one of the things that I will say, because I did speak to somebody who has knitted this, actually did the sweater version. What did they do? The cardigan version. Anyway, they have done it, and I knew they'd done it. And that was Suyan, who has just completed, if you haven't seen it, the beautiful Arcticus shawl in the Eros. Amazing. So stunning. That's the Dragon Knitter on Instagram. But I text her because I knew she had, look at this. Charlotte's going, my OCD won't let me write on my patterns. Charlotte, darling, this is why you print out multiple copies. That's why I always print them out because because I have to. That's why I do it, because I scribble all over them. I'm a shocker. Anyway, I knew she'd worked on it. So so here's the thing. And I do feel for designers, because they obviously go through a rigorous testing process, and they have people that will come back to them and give them feedback. And so she's obviously had feedback. And from my perspective, she's overwritten the pattern to the point that I was getting confused. So I am somebody who... So there's lots of notes all the way through here. So she'll have instructions, and then she'll have a note, and then instructions and a note, and this is what's going to happen. And I'm reading, and I'm like, what? I'm getting confused. And does she mean she's adding this in? Do we do this extra? Whereas I'm somebody that I do it row by row. So as long as the row instruction is correct, that's what I trust. So if you are embarking on this so far, and I'm however many rows in, I'm in 23 rows in, just don't get too caught up with all the notes. You will need to note where your buttonholes are going to be, because there's just a single instruction for that, and she gives you where the first buttonhole is, then she reminds you when the next buttonhole is, but pretty much after that, it's up to you to remember to stick your buttonholes in, right? So hence the reason I do my mapping. But the rest of it is, she sort of has all these different things that you're going to do this and then you're going to that. To be honest with you, some of it I actually got quite confused. She, instead of clarifying it for me, she confused it for me. So if you're looking at this and you're going, what's this woman on? Then I would just ignore all the notes, make sure you know where your buttonholes are going, and then just literally follow row by row. And and that's the advice that Su-Yan gave me. She said, no, just follow Robo-Row, you'll be fine. So I'll show you where I'm at. So I decided to go with the double strand option. I know there have been there's a fantastic one rolling around on the Speakeasy in this, the York and Chatswood. I decided to go with this option, which is the Pearl and Champagne from Cozy. Because this combo, the yarn combo, I did with my shoji. So I did Cyan and Aria. And I love it. I love it. And it's a great combination. Budget yarn with this more expensive fluff, but it averages it out. And it's a really cost-effective way of doing it. Okay, so this is where I'm at. And what I've discovered is, and look, because I can see Kathy's here. This is from Kathy. What are these called, Kathy? Floozies or flidgets, or there's a name for them. What is it called? This has saved my bacon, Kathy. I said to Ethan yesterday, I said, oh my God, that pointy, sticky, hair tie looking thing with sticks has really saved my bacon. So it's, she'll tell me what it's called in a second. She gave me one of these as a wee gift. Phlox. There we go. Thank you, Kathy. It's called a phlox. As a gift at Needlegus Nights, and it's sort of like a cable needle come stitch holder come, I think Stevens sells them at West Nuts. It is, I have to say, it's a very clever wee gadget, but this nice fine points as a cable from a cable perspective has really saved my bacon. So if you will need a cable needle, if you're not adept at cabling without a needle, and I'm not a fan of cabling without a needle, because, as I mentioned with the cardigan, you are working front and back. So there's a little bit of, into the back of the loop business. It is quite tight. So if you've got a cable needle that is, Kathy's saying the fabulous best thing ever. Kathy, it is the best freaking thing ever. If you've got a finer cable needle or a little fine DPN, that's what I would be using for this. Trust me on this one. Finer the better. Because as I said to you, I actually upped my needle size. Camilla used 4mm because of the extra sort of give with this yarn. And I preferred the fabric made with 4.5. So I have just gone shimmied up a little bit. And I've done the size that I want to do. So I know I'm one of the middle sizes. Size 6 out of 9, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes. So she's done plenty of sizes. So that's thing number one. When you get to this, make sure you use a finer cable needle. I'm just going to put this here so I don't lose it. And there we go. Look, I've got little grains. Look at that. Now, I understand some people have been having issues with these grains. They're actually not that hard. Literally, all you're doing is knitting into the stitch. You knit into the stitch, you knit it, and instead of pulling the needle out and knitting again, you knit into the stitch, pull it through, yarn over, and then do it again. So it's like knitting into the stitch twice, which you often do with a bobble, but you're actually doing a yarn over in between. And then that gives you gives you 2 stitches with a wrapped one in between. So the little trick I can tell you is it's just watching your tension when you do that, because when it comes to having to move those stitches and travel them, offset them by 1 to give you that nice tilted grain, there's not a lot of real estate in those 3 stitches. It's a bit tight. It's a bit tight. So that's where the finer cable needle comes into play. And also too, I've got a reasonably sharp metal tip. So that's there. Doing these grains, there's only really one row, which is that cable row, which is time consuming. It is time consuming. I timed it. It took me 45 minutes to do a row. because you just have to take your time. It's not difficult. It's a simple repeat, like very quickly, and you can read your knitting very, very, very carefully. Like you can read, it's easy to read your knitting that you know what it is that you're going to have to do, whether it's slipping stitches and popping them onto the cable, or moving them, or knitting them, or slipping it, or what have you. So actually following along your row is actually quite straightforward. But it just takes time, and she does sort of indicate that it is, what did she call it? Slow crafting, and I can see why. It is just that one row. The other rows, even the row where you're making the grain, is actually quite quick, because essentially you're doing you're sort of knitting in one form or another, either into fronts or backs of loops, and then you're just going through doing a sort of a wrapped sort of bundled stitch and then carried on. And that's actually, I mean, it's a little bit more time, but it's not that much more time. It's just that one cabled row. And you do that row every 4, I think, every 4 rows. And so that's the one that takes you the time. But other than that, it's not too bad, because once you've done that row, then the purl back row is actually as quick as you're literally just purling, and every 6 or so stitches you're having to just purl one into the back of the loop. But that's a slip stitch, so it's not super tight, and it's really easy to get in there and purl into the back of that loop. So that's where you're at. That's where I'm at anyway, and it's looking good. It's looking really good. So I'm kind of happy now. Now that I've got a few little grains on there, and I can see where I'm going. And I'm surprised I got myself into such fluff over it, because all I did was go back and follow the rows. So I actually chose to ignore all of Camilla's notes. I know where my buttonholes are going to be, and I thought, no, I'm not going to overthink this, because I was overthinking it. And when I think I mentioned it last time when I talked about it. So yeah. Oh, it's not streaming on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Shani, for letting me. Yeah, actually, that makes sense, because everyone's sitting here on Facebook. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I don't know. They reckon they have. Oh, yes, everyone is here on Facebook. Look at that. Lord only knows why that is, because it's sitting up here. It's sitting up here telling me that it's technology. Anyway, thinking of working in the round and staking, Delene's asking. To be honest with you, Delene, you probably could, but really, by the time you faff around and do that, you may as well have just done it this way, to be honest. You probably could. I guess if you worked the sweater first and you know what you're doing, but see, you are working that band in at the same time. Oh, and I did find and I've done it. I followed her instruction twice and I went back and double checked it here for how she does the with the yarns in the front and the back, and I was just like, no, that's not correct. So I've actually changed it. Oh, it's a glitch. Oh, I know. There we go. But other than that, so I've got a little nub there, and you know what? With fluff, I'm not going to worry about that little nub. I really am not going to worry about it, because there's no way on earth I'm undoing all of this, because So yeah, I've just gone back to how she'd done it in the ribbing. She changed it when she moved it into the yoke, from where you hold it from front or back. So it's kind of strange. I don't know why that is. But anyway. But there you go. And there you go. You can see my little buttonholes. Look at that. Ta-da! So I'm really pleased with progress. Fabric is looking good. You can see the grains. There you go. Look, see the grains. So I'm just going to hopefully, with this wet weather, because we're forecast for rain, I think, until Sunday or Monday, starting tomorrow, I'll be able to burgle a bit more off with that. So that's the field sweater, Camilla Vlad. So that is yay. So yay, I'm really looking forward to it. And then, of course, Friday is like 1st of December. So one of the things that I will let you know is that I won't, I can let you know now, and actually I might even put a little note out earlier in the week. See if I can schedule that. The theme for December, January is just going to be Stitch in Summer, because it's the theme I do every year, December, January, just so you know. I'll draw It's Only Natural on Monday week, so not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. And I'm only here next Monday because next Wednesday, Thursday, I have to shoot up to Auckland for the day, and I'm travelling back on Thursday, so I won't be here. So I will do that on the following Monday. And that following Monday will be the first day after we would have had our first opening Stitch in Summer. So here's the thing. What I'll do this coming Monday. So Monday coming, I will give you a little hint on here, just for you guys on here, what the Saturday, because the first Stitch in Summer is going to be not this Saturday, next Saturday, because we're going to do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And 2nd of December is a Saturday. I'm going to let you know what that is then. So if you want to do a little bit of planning, and it's a goodie, it's a real goodie. I'm really excited about it, actually. So it's a good one to open with, and that's what I'm madly working on at the moment, is getting those all sort of loaded up and everything ready for Stitch in Summer. It should be really, it's good. We've got some great one-day offers with Stitch in Summer, and we've got some things that have yet to come out, and some things that you've not yet seen, and we've got some deep, really, we've got a number of half-price discounts on a variety of yarns, some yarns that we've got in stock that have never seen discounts before are going to get their first little sale day in Stitch in Summer, so it should be good. Should be loads of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's me. I'm going to get going so I can continue doing all of that. I hope you guys have a good day and stay dry wherever you are. Don't get too bogged down. And yeah, hopefully those tips help out with if you're sort of diving into the field cardigan or the field sweater. The one thing I do know is once I get even just through that first half of the grains and just into the second half, it will start moving more quickly. And once I get out of the field, then there's just a little bit of short row shaping for the shoulders. So it's actually interesting. She's doing the short rows after the yoke, but that will push sort of the shoulder forward for the neckline. And it's not a lot there. So... And I know she uses German short rows. I haven't decided. Anyway, I need to get over my big bad self. And then it'll just go so fast. It will go really fast. It'll go and it'll be done. Well, that's what I'm hoping. And then I can start on my herbalist. That's next. I've got it all sitting there ready to go. I'm just itching to start that. All right, take care. I will see you guys Monday. Until then.